It's not in the cards for you. I'm pretty good at insults, and I got the internet and a lot of free time.
Shut your fucking face, Wigger! Everything out of your mouth is something misogynistic, homophobic, or bigoted. If that's you, if everything out of your mouth is something homophobic, misogynistic, or bigoted, shut your fucking face off!
80% of millennials and 90% of Gen Z are leftists. That means that they support either socialism, democratic socialism, communism, or anarchism, or anti-fascism, which is usually an ANCOM, like, Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg is definitely an ANCOM. Look at the shirt, the Antifa shirt. You've seen the Antifa shirt, where it's the red and black flag. That's where I am politically. I think that if we had a direct democracy without politicians and all businesses were run cooperatively, where everybody was just paid the same wage, it would be a better system. Money is really nothing more than numbers on a computer screen. You could pay anybody whatever you want without it really even coming out of your profit motive or your profit. You just dip into the computer system and say, okay, you're a burger flipper. You get $100,000 a year because the computer said so. It doesn't have to come out of your specific money. You just put it into the computer. Oh, here's your $100,000 per year, and however you divvy that out, probably once every 2 weeks like normal. If you're a burger flipper and you just like write on a screen like they normally do with money, because money is not based on gold or silver or anything, it's based on debt. It's just numbers on a screen, people. If we made it so the computer system just paid you $100,000 for whatever job you did, whether it was a burger flipper or a doctor, people would still become burger flippers and doctors. People would still become CEOs. Well, they would become business people, let's say. Because they find the work interesting. Most people aren't making $100,000 a year. They're doing jobs that they like, though. A cop isn't making $100,000 a year, but it's a job they like. Teachers don't make $100,000 a year, but it's a job they like. Burger flippers often do jobs that they have to do. But you find a lot of people that work at McDonald's like the work at McDonald's sometimes because they're around their friends and they're doing a job that's not really too terribly difficult. Well, I can't say that. It is terribly difficult to be a burger flipper at McDonald's or to work at Taco Bell or something. But you don't need a lot of training to do it. So people do things like that. They work at Walmart because school's expensive, or they just didn't have the initiative to go to school, and that's fine. Imagine a world without burger flippers or janitors or people that work at Walmart or Target. If that all went away, we couldn't buy anything. So you just dip it in the computer screen and you say, burger flipper, you get $100,000 a year to be a burger flipper. It doesn't take a lot of training. That would motivate you to be a better burger flipper. If you paid me $100,000 to flip burgers, I would definitely just go get a job flipping burgers. But there are people that want to become doctors, and I kind of would like to become a doctor. I'm looking into it. I'm studying biology at AA level right now and trying to get a PhD possibly in years to come because I think the work is fascinating. I want there to be a case for age gap breeding. The high telomerase in the eggs is between 18 and 24 years old, with the high point of fecundity being 21. The high point of fecundity seems to be 45 in men. Sure, there's different types of sperm. There's the long, short, and the medium sperm once you get older. But those long sperm, those long DNA sperm, the sperm with the strongest flagella, are the fastest swimmers anyway. And 45 is the high point of the fastest swimmers. They're also the strongest swimmers, which means if something gets in their way, they could knock it out of the way. They could penetrate the egg harder. It's like when you get to a certain age, when you get to be about 45 years old as a male, your sperm has 3 different types. The Special Olympics, the regular Olympics, and just regular people. Well, if you put the Special Olympic sperm with the regular Olympic sperm and the regular people, the Special Olympic sperm and the regular people sperm are not going to reach the egg first or penetrate the egg the hardest. So if you combine those 2 age groups, the high telomerase in the egg, the high telomerase in the sperm, it would logically create the strongest possible DNA in a child, especially if it was interracial. And there's other things, interreligious, intereconomic, because you face different stressors. If a Jew and a Christian were to marry, if a black and white person were to marry, someone that was born rich, born poor, someone that was born in Ukraine, but the other person was born in England, a person that was born in Ukraine but lived in Ireland their whole life, or born in Mexico but lived in the United States their whole life. Any kind of combination like that creates the strongest DNA. So what I'm saying is people will become doctors if they're not making $300,000 a year or millions of dollars a year. People will still want to litigate and become lawyers if they're not making millions and millions of dollars because they enjoyed the work. The work is fascinating to them, so they go to school. And then they become lawyers or doctors or architects or things. They do that because the work is fascinating. And again, people do menial labor jobs like landscaping or security guard or construction because it's not terribly difficult or it doesn't require a lot of training. But you can make pretty good money being something like that. A nurse, a doctor. People become nurses because they find the work fascinating. People become doctors, become lawyers, become politicians because they find that kind of work fascinating. They don't do it for the money. You don't become a business person for the money, really. You do it because business is interesting to you and you enjoy the dynamic of business. That's what I'm saying, people. No matter what job you have, it's either going to be a job that you find fascinating or a job that you can do with the skills that you have. Then you may not need more training to do those jobs. That's why we should just pay everybody the same wage to do any kind of job, whether it's a dog walker or someone who works the counter at 7-Eleven. It's just numbers on a screen, people. Why we're not standing up for this makes no sense to me. We deserve worker solidarity. Some people having some while other people having nothing is unfair. And it's not human nature. Capitalism is brainwashing. It's a disease of the social heart. Conservatives don't see it that way. But who cares? Most Gen Z and millennials are anti-capitalism because they understand things like socialism and communism, bringing people more fortune. You look at things like Venezuela, it's because the United States went in and toppled their regime, but they didn't topple the regimes in Denmark and Sweden, even though they were on the same democratic socialism thing. Well, one has brown people and one has white people. That's why a lot of people these days don't like capitalism, because it's racist. Age phobia, classism, misogyny, and homophobia are all forms of bigotry. Yes, what am I entitled to as I stand up against oppression and bigotry and pollution of the world through poison, CFCs, cars? I'm against driving. I think that mass transit should be more fleshed out. But no, what am I entitled to, right? As I stand up against bigots and oppression and pollution, what am I entitled to? Why won't you date me, Gen Z? Classism, age phobia, misogyny, and you're attracted to the homophobic dudes. If you're not, well, then you might as well date me because I'll be your friend. I'll be your protector. You're the only thing in this world that I love, ladies. Well, not the only thing. But you're who I love the most. I'll be there for you. But you got to stop asking me what I'm entitled to, because I'm entitled. Just like anybody is. It stands up to bigots and greed. If you don't see it that way, then you're a Democrat or a Republican, which means you're a fucking fascist. Get over your bigotry, Gen Z. I care about you. God, I can't stand dude bros. How many women do you need? How many women do you deserve with your misogynistic, racist, laughably homophobic, ableist, classist, bigoted mouths? You with your top 40 shit rock and top 40 shit rap. You with your dumpy clone baseball cap, flatter curved, straighter crooked, and the women who fuck with you fuckboy idiots. You with your jocular 5 generations of high art culture being nothing more than garbage beer, even though you could afford better, and professional sports as the divorce rate hangs at 50% and doesn't go lower. Most of you are religious and most of you are Christians. You complain about the Jews, but most of the millionaires and billionaires and the people in Congress are Christians. Theists, religion, spiritual people, grow the fuck up. It's a fucking fairy tale. Fuck you. Atheism is truth. Where the party at, Gen Z? I want to talk at the sheeple and liberal. I want to talk at the sheeple and liberalize them and radicalize them as Ted Cruz schleps off to Cancun with his family during a cold snap, killing people in climate crisis Texas with subarctic temperatures as President Biden plays video games at Camp David with his family as people starve because the richest nation on earth won't up COVID relief quickly enough under a Democrat or Republican controlled Congress. So slow. Capitalism sucks. And no, communism is more about the power of the people. Anarcho-communism would be worker democracy and a direct democracy. It's not about the Soviet Union and China. It's more like Native American tribes, a hierarchical society that is not communism in Soviet Russia. Shut your fucking mouths, you idiots. I want to talk at the sheeple, Gen Z, about corrupt politicians, worker exploitation, and ecological collapse pollution to the tune of 50% from cars and cities, Gen Z, with your bumper stickers of Bernie Sanders and communism as you flock to these guys, you hypocrites. Age-phobic and classist, I see. Bigots, I see. Leftists in name only, I see. Greedy, I see. Plenty from Wern to share, even on EBT food car money. If only you were kind to me and didn't cockblock me, Gen Z. I'm not into platonic with my high telomerized Gen X seed and your eggs of Gen Z. I need my companion to show her love and synergy. Maybe men really do owe women understanding and empathy.
You're scaring the hell out of me, man. Everything that I do good, I try to do good.